Call the meeting to order and ask for a roll call.
Blunier.
Here.
Leach.
Here.
Lehman. Menold.
Here.
Newman.
Here.
Parrott.
Here.
We have a quorum.
If you join me in Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There are no presentations or special reports. There's no public comment, obviously, tonight. So the consent agenda is the approval of the minutes from the regular meeting October 5th, 2020, and the closed session October 5th, 2020, and the approval of the bills. If we could have a
I
motion.
move to approve.
Second.
Any comments? Call the roll.
Blunier.
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Menold.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Parrott.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I have nothing tonight. Village clerk,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
village administrator.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you. Chief of police.
I have a couple things tonight, Your Honor. First of all, everybody in their packet should have the 2020 Pumpkin Festival expenses. As you can see, they were considerably lower due to the coronavirus and some of the events being cut. The second thing I have tonight, Your Honor, is just a reminder that if anybody has prescription drugs that they want to drop off, Allwin's Pharmacy is now taking those during business hours, which is from 8 to 6:30 Monday through Friday and 8 to 1 on Saturdays. And as far as needles or sharps or anything like that they're trying to dispose of, the fire department does take those during their operating hours, which is from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So Monday through Friday.
Thank you. So could we have a motion on the Pumpkin Festival expenses of $2,840.40?
I so move.
Second.
Comments? Call a roll.
Leach.
Yes.
Menold.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Parrott.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Corporation Counsel.
One item tonight, Your Honor, which is ordinance number 21-25, which is an ordinance making amendments to section 3-8-3 of the Morton Municipal Code regarding state liquor license requirements for Class J2 liquor licenses.
We can have a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
This ordinance addresses the special event type caterers license, and after, which is an ordinance we approved, I believe, just last meeting. Subsequent to the adoption of that ordinance, I obtained some additional information on the state, on additional type of state liquor license, which would allow for a company to basically do mobile liquor service, which would be if you had a retailer's license and then you got a special event license through your retailer's license. So we had required a caterer's license, and at least one of the vendors who had interest in providing alcohol service on a catered basis used a different state licensing arrangement, so we needed to tweak our ordinance to afford those types of individuals the opportunity to obtain our local license for those special events.
Any comments? If not, call the roll.
Menold.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Parrott.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Director of Public Works.
Yeah, I had two items tonight, Your Honor. First, item A, I'd like to ask for acceptance of bid for the 2020 concrete recycling project in the amount of $165,000 and award of contract for same to Knapp Concrete Contractors.
We have a motion.
I move to approve.
Second.
Any comments?
Yeah, so I sent you guys an email on this mainly because we're a little over budget. If you've seen our pile out there, South 4th and Broadway, this all kind of stems from us mainly acquiring a lot of the old concrete from 155, that project, 74, with our intent way back when of recycling that. So here we are. It's a little more than I expected, but when I crunched the numbers, the equivalent of like a CA6, which would be typically what we use for our road base, this would be recycled concrete. We're currently using it on Tyler Street in the junior high parking lot right now. It's a really good material. If I crunch the numbers, we'd be between $7.30 a ton up to maybe $9.30 a ton. We have no money into it yet, so if you basically divide the 165,000 by around 22,000 tons, that's what those dollar amounts would be. So equivalent pickup of this type of material that's being readily used now in the area. West Side and Peoria, I talked to them again today. For a non-certified IDOT material, it would be $15 pickup per ton in Peoria. And for IDOT certified, it'd be $18.25. And then we have a rate at Farmdale Pit, which is owned by UCM in East Peoria, at $19.50 a ton for IDOT certified CAM 6 is what it's called. Ours would be IDOT certified, so it'll run through that gradation sampling process to make sure that it was acceptable. Not necessarily that we need it, but I always like to at least have something, to match IDOT if we're going to use it in our projects. I intend to mostly use it for us in the future, our departments, which is why I would like to distribute the funds appropriately between storm, water, gas, and then streets. So with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have. I do have a drawing in front that kind of shows roughly the layout down there of where we'd have that material.
All right, any questions?
Well, it's a great product. I did the same thing when we tore our facility down, and the thought of having it pile right out here rather than having to haul it from somewhere else and no more money you have in it, I think it's a great move for the Village of Morton.
Thank you.
Good job. I'll second that. Very, very good expense of money now to save more than that as we proceed with projects down the road.
Thank you.
I agree with that as well.
So as far as time frame, we asked them to kind of submit their time frame, knowing this would be something they'd want to do over the winter. So NAP submitted, between November 1st and I think February 1st. So that'd be the time frame. It'd take about 2 months. It'd basically set up a mobile crusher down there. It would take them about 2 months to complete the project, which will incorporate obviously crushing it, but then getting it into a location that we can readily use. So there'll be access around both sides, stuff like that. So.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Call the roll.
Mennel,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Parrot,
Yes.
Blunier,
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next in front of you is item B. This is resolution 13-21. This is a resolution authorizing local match to federal proposal for Detroit Avenue improvements.
We can have a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Greg, would you like to explain?
Yeah, I sent an email on this, and I apologize. I'm not quite as prepared with a plan for you guys, but I tried to get you as much information as I could. Recently, through PUATS, as of the last year or so, we've been working, to come out with a resurfacing set-aside project. Last time we received Cortland, we could have gotten Detroit also. We just couldn't get both, your typical STU or surface transportation funding. So the applications are due Friday. I think Detroit Avenue is a prime project to receive some funding. So I did put in front of you, I thought maybe this was even more appropriate, a little snippet of Detroit Avenue and how we rate our streets. Many of you may have driven down. I know Jason makes comments on it sometimes because it's right in front of his place, but this project would be perfect for 2023-24 to get done. I would really like to take it from the end of our last project all the way to Main Street. That could be upwards of $2+ million to do that, of which $720,000 would come through PUATS if we were to receive approval on that. So I'd be glad to answer any questions that you'd have, whether that be the limits, the dollars, whatever.
Yeah, just looking at Detroit Street, I think this is a very timely project. 23, 24, it'll definitely need it by then, but it's definitely a good project. Question about the 10-foot, 10-foot shared use.
Yes.
Where is that? Is it inside the curb?
Like
No,
Jefferson?
so that, and I failed to mention that in my email, that's something that's been discussed for quite some time. Basically, if you go in front of Casey's there's a 10-foot trail that runs north, just north of, BSI right there, and dies. So this would be a chance, there's a little right-of-way in the middle there, but this would be able to take us all the way to Birchwood, and then have a safe crossing across Birchwood at the Park District. And we recently did acquire that property from the Park District in our trade for Ulrich Park, so at least gets that to where it's in our court for that.
Thank you.
There wouldn't be need for any acquisition of right-of-way, would there?
I think there's a little strip in there. So those would be things we discuss. I'll discuss that this week. I would still like that to get that done. I think I figured you guys would support that. If there is an issue with right-of-way, then it may be something that we just go forward with the resurfacing funds, but maybe still work towards getting that done too, if that makes sense. And you're familiar, obviously, with PUATs and right-of-way acquisition.
Much better doing acquisition outside of the
Exactly.
purview of IDOT.
So when I originally sent the email, my thought was I was just going to work, obviously we got some curb work, but to work within the curb, I think we'd definitely like to get that trail done. But by Friday, I want to have that discussion. I can follow up with you guys on that to whether it's feasible to do that now or later, if that makes
Now.
sense. Well, when I say now, I think I could still do the trail. Since this isn't a typical STU project, this would be overlay funds, meaning I think we could come up with a way to do the trail even if it was separate, you know what I mean? And still focus on getting that done. I'm right in the middle too, should be
Not using STU funds for the
not
trail.
using STU funds, exactly. And I should be starting that study that we budgeted for. I know I've talked to Trustee Leach previously on this, but the bike trail study where we got funding to. So obviously this stuff would be incorporated into that, into whether it be a short-term or long-term planning. A good question. So yeah, there's just one little piece right in the middle.
Okay, any other questions? Call the roll.
Newman.
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Mennel.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Trustees, does anyone have anything tonight?
Could I just ask a question of
Yep.
the Director of Public Works? Could you give us a small update on the junior high project?
Yes. Junior high project, we're right where we need to be. We've finished, if you've driven up there, we've finished half the parking lot. We've actually put barrier wall along the end to make it safe when we open that up. I would say we're within a couple weeks of opening up the drop-off lane and probably 30 parking spaces. And then working with Ameren, I was actually with Ameren today out there working on their plan, which we should have one here soon. So we working hand in hand with them to relocate their facilities along Harrison. But our real focus right now is finishing Tyler Street. So if you've driven by Tyler Street, I would say we're within 2 weeks of pretty much finishing Tyler Street. And then starting to button things up for the winter. Obviously, we can feel the cold weather coming, but we're on task. Like I said, in a couple weeks, you'll be able to drive in a partial parking lot, and I'm hoping you can drive down Tyler Street not too far off too. And I think everyone around there is supportive and is happy. I'd say right now 100% of people, which usually isn't the case on projects. So I appreciate all your guys' comments and support. We're obviously excited about it.
Craig, are you still planning on patching in 2nd Street up to Tyler? Harrison and Tyler?
2nd Street, you mean just
The
temporarily?
Sewer trench, yeah.
Yeah, temporarily, that's in the plans to temporarily patch that for the winter, so that old 2nd Street is open for the winter. It won't be pretty,
Yeah.
but at least we won't be plowing gravel.
At the intersection of Tyler, I mean, I guess I'm just curious, how are you gonna patch that? Or are you gonna bring the limit of the permanent Tyler pavement a little bit further
Yeah, so
south?
2nd comes around the PC to get the handicap ramps or the ADA ramps in, and then we'll probably pay a little extra, extend that 2nd Street pavement just past, and then I'll tie into the trench. So when we come back next year, we'll clean saw off probably 3 to 5 feet of pavement,
Yeah.
so that we'll at least tie into something really
Yeah, I
nice.
just hate to see put a lot of money in patching that intersection
Yeah.
there that.
And we included that in the bid, so that was actually, weren't trying to hide anything, we discussed it at a pre-bid, but that was as a part of, I can't remember if it was a part of the sanitary, whatever, because I didn't want to pay tonnage or anything else, so it's included in the project just as a part of everything, if that makes sense. Because
Oh,
we
not-
wanted them to take care of that pavement. You know, if they went in there and tore out the trench and they tore up the whole road, I don't want to have to pay for the whole road. So there's no pay item. It's all just a part of theirs to, you know, not destroy more than they have to.
Right.
So anything you see there is already included, whatever they do, just to make it ready for us in the winter, so I'm not throwing gravel everywhere.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's good planning.
that project's coming nicely. School, and I've been there quite a bit with work, but I was there today even, and just really nice how that all tied together. Great plan from everybody that worked together. Great
Yeah.
plan.
I do go up there quite a bit because I think I'm just excited about it, and I
Yeah.
love, you know, the principal comes out and talks.
Yeah.
Everyone's excited about it. So right now it's the race. If you've seen the entrance, we're kind of jockeying, trying to get them out of the way with winter coming to get that main sidewalk into the entrance from our drop off. Because right now they're still working on that. There was a stone issue up top if you go look at it. So unfortunately that's kind of pushed us back a little bit. But we're still trying to get the flagpole in up there and kind of redo that entrance, hopefully, still yet this year.
You say there's a stone issue, something that's not matching, or?
Yes. If you
Okay.
drive
I
by,
was
you can see
wondering
it. You can
about
see a
that.
lot of stones sitting
Yeah.
off to the side. So they didn't like how that tied together. So
Okay.
that being
Makes sense.
Teach Architectural and the school. So, but unfortunately, that's right over the top of everything we're trying to do. But,
Right over the top of the main entrance, so.
Yeah.
so there's a lot of work there to try. If you see asphalt up there, we got temporary asphalt, some of those things, trying to just prepare for where these students are or where they're going to be to still make it safe for them as they come out, because they're still going to come off the same entrance. So either they got to go one way or the other. That's the challenging part right now. Hopefully I can get the new one open and then we can start working on other things. So we're still on task. My goal right now would be by school starting next year, everything's done. Then Ameren, great to work with. That overhead lines along Harrison, where we talked about moving them back to the alley, I think we're on task to have a plan to bury some of that. They're kind of redoing some things, so some of that will go under the sidewalk along 3rd Street. So at least that area will actually go away. You won't see that anywhere, even back at the alley behind the homes. So I'm happy about that. I'm not usually a proponent of burying aerial electric because I feel like I'm in the utility business, so we got to dig around it. So I'm usually a staunch opponent when somebody says bury those electric lines. Why would I want to bury them and then I got to hit them? But in this case, I think up there it'll look really nice when those are down.
Thanks for the update.
Thank you.
We do need a closed session.
Closed session is requested tonight for the purpose of discussing collective negotiating matters between the village and its employees or their representatives per 5 ILCS 120/2C2.
So if we could have a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Perry.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Mennel.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
We're adjourned.